Hey, it's Lisa Last here, and I want to talk a little bit about interest rates. Interest rates are the bane of every mortgage broker's existence, I think, right now. It's always a giggle for me when someone says to me, "What is your best rate?" And it's quite funny because I have 15 questions I need answered before I can quote that. And it sounds crazy, but it's the truth. I need to know how you're employed. I need to know where you're located. I need to know how much you owe. I need to know the value. I need to know how much you put down when you bought it. I need to know, there's so many features. Because we're brokers, the market, we have access to so many lenders, and each lenders have different criteria for how they categorize rates. So anyways, one of the things that I ask you when you are talking to me about best rates, whether it's on a purchase or a renewal or a refinance, is how long do you want to keep the property for? And do you want to take equity out of the property to do renovations or debt consolidation? So the length of time you're going to keep the property is really important to me. And it's an important feature, more important than what the best rate is. Because if you're in a condo or you're in a house and you plan on getting a transfer in 2 years or refinancing or ripping the roof off and adding on, you're going to face a penalty in a couple of years when you break that mortgage, and that penalty can be extraordinary. So it makes the rate unimportant. So one of the things that's really important to me when we're discussing rate, especially in a market that we're in right now, where we could see downward pressure on rates. So for example, if you're getting a rate right now of 4.99%, and in 2 years, rates are at 2.99%. And you call me up and you say, "Hey, Lisa, can I transfer my mortgage to a new lender and get the better interest rate?" The simple answer is absolutely. As long as you qualify, it's not a problem. However, when we give your lender a call to find out what that interest rate is, if you're paying interest rate differential, you are paying, the easiest way to explain it is basically, when you sign on the dotted line for a mortgage, you're promising your investor a rate of return of, let's say, $55,000. And so what happens is, if you pay off your mortgage 2 or 3 years earlier than you promised, let's say, and they thought the rate of return was going to be X at 4.99, but now 2 years early, they need to reloan that money at 2.99%, the rate of return is going to be a lot lower. So that lender uses this wild rate comparison strategy of rate comparison. And that's how they look at things like your balance, the amount you have left owing, the length of time, and they come up with this wild calculation. Every lender does it differently. It's called an interest rate differential. And that's where we saw in 08, 09, 010, these penalties of $8, $10, $15, $25, $30,000 for consumers. And if rates drop, that could come back again. So the lender charges you either interest rate differential or a 3-month interest penalty, whichever is higher. So keep in mind, the interest rate differential could be a higher penalty, and it could be kind of yucky. So if you're trying to decide between two lenders and there is a mortgage, let's say with a major bank available, and there's a mortgage with a monoline lender available, monoline lenders charge what they call best rate to best rate, trying to give you the lowest penalty possible. If you go with a major bank, they typically charge you the best rate to the posted rate on their website. Therefore, there's a much higher likelihood in a decreasing rate environment that if you have a mortgage with a bank and you break it early, for whatever reason, you're likely to pay a higher penalty. So it's not all about rate. Sometimes it's also about product.